It's Friday the 13th. Ha 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 ha. Spooky, maniacal laughter. Ghosts and stuff. Freddy Krueger or whichever one it is. I don't remember. Life unedited. Ooh. Ghosts and stuff. Okay, so in light of it being Friday the 13th, which is a day rife with superstitious heebity-jeebity hoobity blah, that's an official term, look it up in the dictionary, I have looked up on the interwebs the origins of some fairly common superstitions. And basically that means that I just found like one article and there were like a bunch of them, so I'm only citing one source and I'm not even going to cite it, but I'm going to assume that these are correct and share them to you, webcam, electronic box, type, computer, internet people, okay? Okay. Opening an umbrella indoors. Apparently this is considered bad luck simply because in like 18th century England when umbrellas first came around, they were all like didn't work all that well and had lots of sharp metal moving parts, and so if you opened one inside you were pretty likely to hit someone else and cause some little ruckus or maybe a row or maybe some just bad feelings, and so it was considered just a generally bad idea to open it inside. This morphed into the whole bad luck thing. Walking under a ladder. Apparently this one comes all the way back from Egypt because to them the triangle is a sacred sign. The whole like all-seeing eye and clearly like the pyramids and everything, they were all into triangles and it like represented divinity and gods and stuff like that. So when you walked through the triangle, this is like half a triangle there, walked through it, they thought that maybe it was a bad idea because you were like insulting the gods or whatever that the triangle represented. So that was bad idea. Luckness. A broken mirror gives you 7 years of bad luck. I find this one quite interesting because it comes back from like ancient divining practices when like you would look at people's reflections in mirrors or pools of water and like based on the appearance, if it was like all distorted, you would have bad health, aka you would die, and if it looked good, you would keep living. Well, apparently the Romans kind of took that and adjusted it and your luck worked in 7-year cycles because 7 has always been like a cyclical number in ancient numerology. And so when you saw a distorted reflection, it didn't mean necessarily you were going to die right away. It meant that you would have 7 years of just badness. And obviously a broken mirror is going to give you a distorted picture. So breaking a mirror guarantees that you will have 7 years of badness, but at least you won't die like it used to be. Spilling salt. Now, I actually do this one where you're supposed to like grab a pinch and throw it over your left shoulder. Apparently, a lot of people don't even know about that, but this one comes simply from the fact that salt was really, really valuable. In fact, our word salary comes from a Latin term salarium, which refers to the money that Roman soldiers would be given above and beyond to buy salt, because salt was a preservative and it helped you save food, and it was just really, really important to pretty much every culture up until not all that long ago. And so if you spilled salt, it was bad because you wanted salt. And then I read somewhere else something about like the salt would preserve you from the devil who comes from the left or like from behind you. I don't really know about that one, but it does at least make sense that spilling salt is a bad thing because it was considered pretty much really, really valuable. The end. Horseshoes, specifically hanging one above your door. Both parts of this come from the Greek, and the first is iron. The metal was considered to ward away bad things for some reason. Greeks had all kinds of weird beliefs like that. And 2, the horseshoe was shaped kind of like a crescent moon, which was also considered to be a good luck omen for some reason. And so pretty much the horseshoe, both being iron and crescent shaped, was considered to be super, super good for your luckness. However, it does make me think that maybe Lucky Charms would be angry about this because then they would have both the crescent moon and the horseshoe, and there's some substantial overlap, possibly thus nullifying all of the magical deliciousness. But that's a little side tangent point. A black cat. Oddly enough, way back in Egypt, home of the triangle ladder dealio, black cats were actually considered to be a good thing because people in general in Egypt just really, really liked cats. In fact, they often worshiped them as like divinity for some reason, I don't know. But black cats took on the whole negative connotation in like Europe when the whole witchcraft thing was all over the place, and people just kind of thought black cats looked creepy and assumed that they worked with witches or possibly were witches in a like Professor McGonagall style transformation. Anamorphous, animagi, what is the word in Harry Potter? I don't remember. Animagus, that's what it is. But yeah, and so if one crossed your path, it probably meant that a witch was watching you and you were gonna get cursed or hexed or killed or something like that. And finally, the coup de grace, the number 13. Oddly enough, this superstition stems from two stories from two very distinct cultures, both related to dinner parties. First of all, in Norse mythology, there's the story of a dinner of the gods in Valhalla that had 12 guests, but then Loki, that would be the mischievous brother of Thor, showed up and he was all like, why wasn't I invited? And then this major ruckus went down because no one wanted Loki there, and in the whole hoopla, one of the gods, Balder, who was like the god of prosperity and happiness and all that, was accidentally killed. And so obviously having 13 guests at your dinner party, not good, because it kills all the prosperity, like quite literally. So all the like Norse, Germanic, Northern European tribes believed that this 13 thing was bad, and then when Christianity came up from the Roman Empire in the early AD type years, and Christianity was all like, hey, at the Last Supper there were 13 guests, and Judas, who was the 13th one, is the one who killed Jesus. Obviously that's not a very good thing either. And so the Norse guys were like, see, I told you so, even your religion has the same kind of story. And so pretty much ever since then, 13 has been really, really bad, and people just like to avoid it. And so we have things like skyscrapers with no 13th floors, or planes with no row 13 seats. And I think it's kind of absurd, but I don't know. Let me know down in the commenting section, are there any of these superstitions that you actually kind of believe? Do you actually really believe any of them? Or do you just like one of those people who knocks on wood to be funny, or you like cross your fingers? I wonder what that comes from. I'll look that up later. I think it's interesting. Hope you have been informed. Hope this video isn't like 18 years long. Until next week, deuces.